So after an hour and 12 minutes, Stan Smith breaks the Newcombe service for the first time and rewarded with the second set.
Second set to Smith.
Philosophical attitude, I think, by Smith there, standing in, waiting for the odd mistake or two from Newcombe.
Quiet, please.
And of course lifting his own game.
Third set, Smith to serve. Love 15. All.
I think Mr. Knight has made a mistake. Love 30, he felt that the man might have called out.
Love 30.
Yes, that was a miss-hit by John Newcombe. It landed about 8 inches inside the line as Stan couldn't get up that high, right off the wood.
Love 40. $15.40. $30.40.
Stan Smith in the earlier part of the match never quite getting his forehand volley as beautifully in the middle of the racket as that one. So from slight reaction at the beginning of this third set, having won the second, Smith has now recovered from the awkward position of being love 40 in the opening game of the third set, and his play now has taken on a solidity that looks very menacing. Oh, what a pass.
Advantage Newcombe. Game to Newcombe.
Games have been closer and closer here in the later stages. Lots of tight games in that second set. And that was a tough game here starting the third set, and that's the reason why Instead of the normal 35 to 40-second break, the boys took about twice that amount of time. So after an hour and 20 minutes play, 1 set all, John Newcombe leading 1-love here in the third set and ready to serve.
Love. All.
Just the sort of volley that Newcombe missed then that Smith was missing very early in the match.
$30-15. $40-15. Newcombe leads 2 games to love, third set.
1 set all, and it was noticeable then, I think, that John Newcombe was putting his service ball up a few inches more forward and really leaning onto it. And of course, if you can control it, that's where the weight comes from, that heavy ball coming off the court that almost knocks the racket out of your hand. But it's Smith serving now.
Love. Love. $30-15. $40-15. Smith. Newcombe leads 2 games to 1, third set.
Seems to me there's a point that we fail to give credit here in John Newcombe's game, and the way he moves about a court. He's stockily built. He's such a strong physical specimen. You fail to realize that with that he has some great agility and speed. If he gets into a volleying situation, why, he can get his racket around, say, as quick as the Lavers, Rosewald, and the other fellows who are supposed to be extremely quick. And then this court, which has been playing awfully slow, you might call it dead. The short balls just die away on you. John's been able to get up to them, so he has some real Jack be nimble, Jack be quick in him. Stan Smith, it seems to me, hits his serve a lot harder. And when it goes in, John's not able to handle it, but still on the main. The difference between the two boys so far in this little over 2 sets of play has been that John Newcombe's getting more serves into play off of Stan, and because John is serving much deeper, he's getting more cripples to volley off. So one service break has meant the difference between the other 2 sets. John has one here in the 3rd set. He's leading 2-1. See if he can hold it again.
Love 15. All.
Net.
$15-30.
Smith again showing that if he's moving fast enough, and of course if he's thinking fast enough and is bold enough, if he runs around the service directed at his backhand, certainly in the right court, he seems to be, it seems to be paying him dividends.
Dan, I'm glad you mentioned the right court, because that's the side he plays in doubles, and he's used to doing that. In the backhand court, why, he'll stay and take it on the backhand normally.
Left. Fault.
Third double fault from Newcombe. They've each served 3 apiece.
Pierce. Advantage, Smith.
And the Smith tactic of running around his backhand in the right court, I think, is beginning to worry John Newcombe a little bit.
Games all, 3rd set.
So the boldness and the enterprise of Smith paying off well there. Even the top players in the world, when you are conscious that the man is going to run round your second service unless you place it accurately and place it to a length, it really does disturb them a bit. And John Newcombe, who didn't serve a double fault in the first set, served 2 in the second. He's just served a very, very vital one there. So it's an interesting situation now indeed, as Smith comes up with new balls. 1 set all, 2 all, 3rd set.
$15 love. 30 love. Love.
Let.
First service. Forty 15. Game to Smith. 3 games to 2. Smith leads third set.
So a quick recap of this third set. It's interesting, I think. Smith dropped his service in the opening game, and then John held his for a 2-love lead. Now Smith has come with a run of 3, the middle game breaking the Newcombe service, and believe it or not, it's the first time that Smith has led in this final. In fact, the first point of the match was won by Smith, and that was the only time that he'd actually been ahead by a point or anything else. So this is really building up now. And we're fortunate in the weather so far. We've got rather clearish sky, a little bit misty, but it's humid. We've got only the merest breath of wind here. It's not a devitalizing day for athletes as well trained as this. It would be for some people, and I'm quite sure they'd much prefer to have it like this, with an even light, rather than terrific sunshine at one moment, shadow at another, and certainly they prefer it without any disturbing wind. So the champion behind, and one begins to wonder, are we going to have another great Wimbledon title change hands? We've had 2 so far, the men's doubles and the ladies' singles.
Let.
First service.
Out.
15 love. Love.
Out.
30-15.
Pretty severe shot from Stan Smith. That really was a hard hit ball, and it was so low over the net.
Forty 15.
Let.
40-30.
So the 4th double fault from Newcombe.
I think John served that one just to let Stan know that he is going to serve wide once in a while. And he had the 40-15. He felt that was the time to let Stan know he could do it. But he didn't.
Deuce. Advantage, Smith.
I wonder if John Newcombe hitting that service as hard as he's hit any service here today was just a little bit unpoised and off balance as the return came back so rapidly at him. The actual volley itself wasn't so difficult.
Deuce.
Well, I'll tell you, John felt for just an instant when he hit that drive volley that he might have overplayed it. It must have been awfully close, and you see Stan looking at the spot where it landed.
Advantage, Newcombe.
Right off the wood of Smith's racket. Well, that's an incredible point.
Deuce.
Well, that's a remarkable point there with Smith returning that ball right off the wood of the racket. It was a perfect lob. John eventually making the error.
Well, it's such an unusual thing.
Advantage, Smith. Game to Smith. Smith leads 4 games to 2, third set. Quiet, please.
So Stan Smith in full cry here. A run of 4 games from love 2 to 4-2, 2 breaks of service. The man who was struggling so hard in the first set now certainly calling the tune. So John Newcombe, the holder, faced with a man in full cry.
Love.
Ball.
All.
Let's.
$30-15.
I have to mention that I heard over this phone this morning Ralston telling him And once in a while, you've got to serve wide to John on that first court because he likes to move around a 2. That was the first time he tried it, and it worked.
all. .30. Game to Smith. 5 games to 2. Smith leads 3rd set.
You know, sometimes luck really plays a big part of a match-winning situation. Let's take a look at Stan Smith back in the 6th game, where he hits a forehand return completely off the wood. Now, the ball has gone extremely high. John thinks it's going to go out, but he better be careful. Now he senses it's going to be in. So off of a complete miss-hit, Stan Smith is still in the action. And he gets to this ball, too. And up comes John Newcombe to play a good, easy forehand drive volley that he's been making all week and into the net. From that point on, Stan went on to break that serve to give him a 4-2 lead. And incidentally, Stan Smith, after losing the opening game of this 3rd set, has managed to win 5 in a row after John assumed a 2-love lead. So Johnny Newcombe, in really remarkable poor condition at the moment, just match-wise, not physically, after playing such brilliant tennis for so long, finds himself really in a jam. He's 2-5 down now. It's only 1 service break. And certainly Stan Smith has assumed the momentum. He's come on awfully strong. So Newcombe to serve once again.
Serving then to stay in this 3rd set.
Love 15. Love 30.
John Newcombe missing a chance there to put that point in his pocket. That was a comparatively easy forehand volley. .30. All. .30.
Oh.
This double fault from John can ill afford to serve a double in this game where he's serving to stay in the 3rd set.
Ball.
Advantage Smith.
So set point for Stan Smith.
Third set to Smith, 6 games to 2.
So a tremendous turnabout here. After an hour and 3/4 of play, the challenger, Stan Smith, who's never been beyond the last 16 in this championship in 7 tries at Wimbledon, his first Wimbledon final here, leading 2 sets to 1. And remember that John Newcombe, right through until halfway through the second set, was really playing with tremendous precision and really playing like the holder of the title.
Love. Love.
So this is the tactic that Newcombe will have to try. It's always a risky one, running in against the incoming serving volleyer.
Stan very alertly sees a piece of paper rolling out there. We could see it from here before he did, and things like that can cost you a serve.
Smith. First game, 4th set.
Well, with this turn of events, I think it'd be interesting to check, get away from the court just a few seconds to see how Mr. and Mrs. Stan Smith Sr. are feeling. That's the lady in the upper box there, the dark glasses, and the gentleman turning around talking is Stan Sr. And they're no doubt feeling much happier. And Angie Newcombe, the young lady in the upper left of your screen, she has a little look of apprehension, and I believe she warrants that, because Stan Smith down on the court has really been blistering that ball for the last 7 games. After John assumed a 2-love lead there in the 3rd set, Stan has really turned on everything he's got. Dan, I think what has caused John Newcombe to start making some errors, which he was making so few early in the match, is the threat of the running around forehand. As soon as Stan started doing that consistently, John served 3 doubles in that particular set, and he's just generally worried on the volley. So we saw John Newcombe try to upset the rhythm and play of Stan Smith by attacking on a chipping backhand coming to the net, and it's things like this that players have to be ready to do once they're game plan breaks down, they get behind, they have to do something different or they're going to get beat. So now John Newcombe, who up to this match had only lost one set in the tournament, finds himself down 2-1. He now serves at love 1 here in the 4th.
Love. Love. 40 love. Game to Newcombe. 1 game all, 4th set.
And I must say, it's a wonderful situation to be here in this match on the centre court, wondering whether the man, John Newcombe, with all the vast experience, is going to find a way of getting back into the match against Stan Smith. He's 2-1 down. It's 1-all, Smith serving.
Love. Oh. 30 love. Love. Game to Smith. 2 games to 1. Smith leads 4th set.
Perhaps the easiest service game. I've been told it's the first love game that Stan has won in the 4 sets, or 3 in part of a set so far. Stan lost his serve only once in the match. No, he lost it twice, excuse me, in the 6th game of the opening set, which allowed John to win the set at 6-3. And then when the score was 1-all, he lost his opening serve in the 3rd set. However, that's when he really turned on the steam and pulled right away to win 6-2. So the problem, Dan, as you mentioned, certainly has shifted from Stan Smith to John Newcombe. John Newcombe now all of a sudden finding it very difficult to keep the play in consistently, keep the ball on the return of serve low. He hasn't made many forehand passing shots and backhands either, as a matter of fact, as Stan seems to be covering everything, including the lobs. And on top of that, he has served a few double faults at the wrong time, which has let the younger man, Stan Smith, 24, partially assume control of this match. All right, 1-2, 4th set. Smith leads 2-1, and Newcombe to serve.
love.
Good play by both men, but great anticipation by Newcombe.
Halt.
Love. Newcombe. 2 games all, 4th set.
So in these 4 games of this 4th set, only 1 point scored against the service, that against Smith in the first. But neither man yielding here in a match which is absolutely absorbing. Everybody, I think, waiting for somebody to break away with a quick run. But it's Smith serving.
Love. All. $30-15. All.
Stan Smith there making a wonderful backhand volley after having played a rather miserable forehand volley barely up to the service line. Is Newcombe all right? He's all right. He's smiling quite happy. Well, a little bit of light relief.
Three games to 2. Smith leads 4th set.
That was a pretty lucky shot for Stan Smith on the vantage end point there. And we're very fortunately that Johnny Newcombe didn't hurt himself. What's apparently happening here is that Stan Smith started to mix up his serves a little more. There for the first time, he got a couple of errors from John Newcombe by directly serving into the forehand. All the rest of the time, he's been very reluctant to serve to John's forehand. And in a way, you sort of sense that John has become just a little unsure of himself, and as this set goes further and further into the games, of course the pressure gets stronger and stronger on John Newcombe. After all, he's down 2-1, so Stan Smith in a very good position here. Very, very quiet all of a sudden. Everybody is so serious. Newcombe to serve once again. New balls.
Love. Love. Love.
It's a great volley.
Game for Newcombe. 3 games all, 4th set.
Well, the backhand volley of Newcombe's didn't quite come out of the middle of his racket, but it wasn't as bad as all that. Certainly glad to get it over the net. So here we are, 3-all, Smith serving.
Love. All.
A velvety bit of play by John Newcombe as he went round his backhand in the backhand court to produce that fine winner.
Left.
John has a right look over there at his opponent, who also squeezed a little half volley, not quite out of the middle racket, and right onto the chalk, onto the sideline.
Left pass.
Such
a fine lob by Newcombe off a rather low ball and halfway up the court. One of the tallest men in the championship, Smith, 6'4".
Oh.
John Newcombe fighting for this game, 40-15 at one time, the service. John Newcombe, who's been in the final 4 times in the last 5 years, with all that vast experience, this is a service break he could do with.
Advantage, Newcombe. Game to Newcombe. 4 games to 3. Newcombe leads, 4th set.
Well, everybody can breathe a little sigh of relief, particularly those who are hoping John will come ahead and win this 4th set. Stan Smith really took a bad gamble on that deuce point. He had a high volley, and he elected to put enough thrust on it to go for an automatic placement. He missed it by just a fraction of an inch, but the main thing is he had been hitting them deep enough to either get an error from John Newcombe or perhaps some sort of a lob which he's been putting away. And may not have meant that much to him at the time, but boy, that was a vital error that really helped John Newcombe, who came up with a couple of fine returns of serve from there on to go ahead and break serve finally. After the first game of the 3rd set, John finally breaks another serve, and he produced 2 marvelous forehands in that game. He used the tactic of this man to break serve, that is to go around the second serves, hit your forehand for winners. John did it twice in that game. Things looking much better for Newcombe all of a sudden. He now has 4-3 in the 4th set. Smith 2 sets to 1 up.
Love.
Stan Smith hasn't even changed court. He's
30
waiting.
Love.
30 love's a score, says Mr. Knight, but Stan Smith was hoping for a call of fault. 30 love.
Love. Game to Newcombe. Newcombe leads 5 games to 3, 4th set.
So that break of service by Newcombe after 1 deuce. He's had a run of 3 games to bring him from 2-3 down into this commanding position, 5-3 in the 4th set. It's put a totally different light, of course, that break of service on the match. Smith then serving to stay in the 4th set.
Love. All. $30-15.
Stan Smith under pressure there, playing one of the finest volleys of the match, that low backhand.
Game to Smith. 5 games to 4. Newcombe leads 4th set.
Actually, that was a very important game for Stan Smith to win. Not only does it keep his hopes alive to try to break serve here, get to 5-all, the secondary reason would be that should he lose this set 6-4, why, he'll get to start the final set on serve, and this is a very big edge if it does go into the 5th set. And John Newcombe tried desperately hard to break that serve for the same 2 reasons. He'd like to have won the set 6-3, but he would have liked to start his serve in the 5th set. They played just a little over 2 hours and 10 minutes, and trying to assess both men physically. You probably, except for the tousled hair and a little bit of disheveledness around the shirt areas where they go through their contortions to get all that speed and spin, you wouldn't know these boys had been out there more than 20 or 30 minutes. They are really fit. This last year, John Newcombe had to go 5 sets to defeat Ken Rosewall. The year before, he played a long, tough 4-setter and losing to Rod Laver. I think his Wimbledon win in '67 was straight sets over the German, Bungert. But the position now is John Newcombe must hold serve now to go to 2 sets all.
Love.
John Newcombe really in aggressive mood now as he fights for this 4th set. So that ace gives John Newcombe 3 points for the set. Resourceful defense by Stan Smith there. Still 2 set points then for Newcombe. Can he do it this time?
Cheers.
Now we see the value of that wonderful defense by Smith when he put up all the lobs. Well left.
Advantage Newcombe.
Which is a great piece of judgment by Newcombe there. So he has set point for the 4th time. That's it for the set.
Game and 4th set to Newcombe. 6 games to 4.
So for the 2nd year in succession, we
Two
have the
sets all.
men's final playing for a final set.
Quiet, please. Final set.
So the 5th time since the war,
Smith
we
to
have
serve.
a 5-set men's final.
Love 15. Fifteen all. Fifteen 30. All.
Well, John rushing that, of course, he saw Smith off balance.
$40-30. Game to Smith. First game, final set.
Well, the first crisis here in the 5th set, survived by Mr. Smith there at that 15-30 point. John had a couple of choices. He had Stan hanging over the net, and he was way over on the right side. He could have passed him cross court or thrown the ball over his head on the lob. Incidentally, part of John Newcombe's defenses these days call for either 2 plays. He likes to dink the ball short, which is play it soft and slow, hoping to get a good ball up in the air, or perhaps run up a drop volley. And he lobs a lot, but against this taller man that he's playing this afternoon, who really is very difficult to get a ball over his head, he's had to practically give up the lob, except just once in a while when he's lucky to get to the ball. And it looks as though, yes, I guess it's official, Dan, that at least our first tie-breaking Wimbledon, we will not have one of the very exciting tiebreakers played here in the final, because now that we are in the 5th set, why, the traditional deuce rules do prevail. This match can go indefinitely from here on. All right. John Newcombe will always be serving 1 game behind. That's the edge that Stan Smith has here as he leads 1-love, and now Newcombe to serve.
15 love.
False. Out.
15 all.
Mm.
30-15.
Let.
40-15.
Good shot.
40-30.
Well, Stan Smith has persevered with this backhand drive return throughout the match, only slicing and blocking the return occasionally when he was rather forced into it. It was a vital pass he made there.
Deuce.
Stan Smith climbs back from 40-15 to deuce.
Round takes Newcombe. Game to Newcombe. 1 game all, final set.
A slightly edgy game for John there as Smith really tried to hold that one.
Gracias.
15 love. 15.
My goodness, that was a cheeky shot from Smith.
Game to Smith. Smith leads 2-1, final set.
And on the 5 points in that game, Stan Smith only put one first service in, got away with the game to 15.
And I assume that word cheeky means sort of cute in the American slang. I actually played 2 cheeky shots there. And sometimes that's a sign of lack of concentration, maybe even getting tired, where you know that, or at least you've been told in your success around the serve and volley game, is at all times try to punch the ball deep, having the confidence that if you do this with enough zip on it, you're going to get another good chance. You should win the point 9 out of 10 times. However, if you do try a drop shot or a drop volley, which Stan did twice there, you always face the possibility of making a mistake yourself, and your opponent usually gets a chance to get up there and get it. Whatever the reason, Stan pulled off 2 beauties, and it does show us that he's got relaxed control. John Newcombe, deep in thought, very fortunate in some ways to be here in the 5th set. He had a couple of crucial games back in the 4th, which he came through. What I've liked so far about the excellence of tennis, Dan, is the nice way in which when one player makes a good shot, the other player acknowledges it. They played this in great spirit. No incidents at all. 1-2 now. Newcombe to serve.
Love.
Fine return from Smith, catching John just a little bit slow and anticipating and covering the ball.
New balls, please. Two games all, final set.
John Newcombe must have been very pleased with that service game, getting every first service in and having to withstand in one of those rallies a real fierce bombardment by Smith off the ground. Smith, who hits as heavy a ball, as fast a ball as any man in the championships. So new balls then to Smith, 2-all, final set.
15.
Okay.
Ball. Let's ball.
Love 30.
5 double faults to each man so far.
Ball. Ball.
Love 40.
Well, suddenly we get, for the first time, 2 double faults in succession. And what a moment to lose control of your service.
Game to Newcombe. Three games to 2. Newcombe leads. Final set.
What wonderful relief there for Newcombe with those 2 double faults in that game. Smith just losing the control of the service, feeling the pressure, no doubt. First break of service, of course, in this final set. And as we just watch Smith relaxing there for a moment, let's have a look at the centre court from a rather different view. And there's a picture from our Simon Hoist, just standing behind the actual centre court, looking right down, the focus of the world's sporting attention on this English lawn. Some 14,000 or so spectators around the centre court itself, and how many millions will be watching this, if not now, when the replay comes too. So on this little English lawn, played in a garden party atmosphere that has given Wimbledon an atmosphere all of its own. These 2 men battle it out, and John Newcombe, this great holder of the title, having got away there with a service break that really must have given him tremendous relief.
Ball.
Love 15.
Ball.
Love 30. $15-30. all. 40.
Having to withstand a really magnificent backhand return by Smith.
Deuce. Advantage Newcombe. Deuce.
Well, that was a piece of good fortune for Stan Smith there, as John Newcombe, eager of course to put that volley away into 3/4 of an open court, just overdid it.
Fault.
Advantage Newcombe.
And John certainly took a placement away from Stan there with a little bit of a lucky drop volley. They all count.
Game to Newcombe. Newcombe leads 4 games to 2, final set.
So John Newcombe underlines the breaking of the service of Smith in the previous game by really serving a great many of his first serves in there. So Stan Smith up against it now.
Love.
Fault.
15 all.
That 7th double fault from Smith coming at the most inopportune moment.
First service. (30-15).
Out.
40-15.
Fault.
to Smith. Newcombe leads 4-3, final set.
Stan Smith couldn't have played a better game. Last one where he had the advantage point on one occasion and still lose the game. He played superbly, got all the returns back, got to the love 30 position with 2 tremendous returns, but John Newcombe kept pounding the first ball in, which is the mark of a real champion. I always say that the reason Gonzalez won all the close 5-set matches, that when he was down 30-40, he always was able to get the big one in, and that's why he always came out on top in those long, brilliant matches that he won. So now Stan must, of course, take the offensive here. We can't expect Newcombe to make any errors. He's going to be trying to control the first serve. Stan is going to have to do it himself. And that means go around and hit the forehand on every opportunity. And I wouldn't be surprised that on the second or third stroke in a long volley situation that John is closing in awfully tight, but a surprise lob might help him here. 4-3 final set, Newcombe to serve.
Love. Love.
It was an opportunist shot there by John. Nasty, awkward, high bouncing ball, but onto it before it really got to the top of the bunts.
Newcombe. 5-3. Newcombe leads. Final set.
John only getting in one first service there, but by very good backing up play, pulls off a love game. So Stan Smith now serving to stay in this final.
Love.
Oh!
Love. Love. 5 games to 4. Newcombe leads. Final set.
Well, they've been out there close to 2 hours and 50 minutes, and 2 of those brilliant serves by Stan, service aces, showed us that he still got the energy to do it. But he's playing a fellow, that John Newcombe, when he gets you by the throat, he never lets go. He's very, very tough when he's ahead. He's a fighter when he's behind, but the reason he wins so many, a great percentage of the tournaments that he's managed to win, is that when he gets you down, he's relentless. He has that great ability to hold his concentration. Obviously has great desire to go ahead and win, and he usually does when he's in this position with only 1 serve to hold. Trying to assess his play here, having him ahead 5-4 in the final set with some darn good opposition from Stan Smith. The big thing he's managed to do always is keep the second serve very, very deep. It's true that Smith has been able to get around a few of them, and for a while there in the 3rd set, John was shaky on his backhand volley. So everybody trying to get both of these boys up for this perhaps last game of the men's singles. And they're certainly equal in their appreciation of the 2 men. John Newcombe stands ready to serve to win his 3rd championship here at Wimbledon.
Love 15. All. Thirty 15.
So the first service going in, followed by that crunching forehand volley, gives John Newcombe, the holder, 2 match points.